Okay, I often get asked, how did you get into the military? Where did it all start? Well, I wish I could say that it all started because I wanted to serve my country. But I can't say that's why I got in, although I will say that's why I stayed in for 26 years. For me, it all started in college. I had a guy that came in to an 8 o'clock math class every Monday, Wednesday, Friday in one of my classes, and he was always sweaty and he'd been working out, and I'd say, well, where have you been working out? And he told me he worked out with the ROTC. And I love to work out too. So I started asking him what all they do, and he told me, and I said, you know what? Could I come work out with y'all? And he's like, oh, I don't know, but I can ask our cadre. So next class period, he comes back and he said, you know what? They're gonna let you come work out. So I worked out with them that entire semester. That was my sophomore year. Had a blast. It was tough workouts, but I really enjoyed it. And at the end of that semester, one of the cadre came to me and said, you know what? If you really enjoyed this working out bit, you could go to Fort Knox this summer for 6 weeks. You'll get to go rappelling. You'll get to do more of this working out bit. You'll build rope bridges. You'll camp out in the woods. And I thought, sign me up. I said, but hold on now. You know, I don't have to join the military to do this, right? And he said, oh, no obligation. You can just go. He said, they'll even pay you. And I thought, well, you can't beat that. So I got signed up. I packed up my bags. My dad dropped me off at the Greyhound station. I took a Greyhound bus to Fort Knox, Kentucky. I had 2 suitcases of clothes, and I was wearing a sundress because I had no idea what I was in for. So anyway, that Greyhound bus drops me off in front of those barracks, and there's these drill sergeants yelling at people and screaming, and I'm thinking, whoa, this can't be the right place. But I got off the bus, you know, kind of clumsily with my 2 suitcases and my sundress on, fall into formation, looking around, and next thing I know, we're got to march down to our barracks where we're going to be staying, and I'm having a lot of trouble with my 2 suitcases. And one of the guys in our platoon thankfully offered to take my suitcases for me. I think he took one of them, but the drill sergeant would have none of that. He said that she brought those suitcases, she's going to carry them. So anyway, I carried those 2 suitcases. I know I was the laughing stock of the entire place. I fast forward to that evening, I'm in my barracks, and I'm thinking, this is a mistake. I should not be here. So I get permission to go see the first sergeant that night. And I go to him and I vent and I tell him this is a big mistake. I did not know what I was getting into, and I wanted to go home. And I still see his face. I forget his name, but I can still see his face. And he said to me, I'm gonna offer you a deal. You stay for 1 week, and if at the end of that week you want to go home, I will let you go home. But next thing you know, I'm loving it. I loved my time there, and actually I even graduated top cadet of my company. I couldn't believe it. And I share that story. I'm a teacher by trade, and I share that with my students, not because really for the reason why I joined the military, but for what I learned from that experience. And what I learned from that experience really changed the trajectory of my life without question. You know, I learned that it didn't really matter what your abilities are or what abilities you don't have. If you simply just do your very best and work very hard, you can succeed. After that, I did decide to join the military. I went back to MTSU, the ROTC program that I decided to join. And at the end of my junior year, my first year of ROTC, I was honored to be selected as a battalion commander, cadet battalion commander for my senior year. And I didn't aspire to do this. I think I just did my very best at everything that I was working on, my classes, everything, and I was honored. And not only that, I was the first female cadet battalion commander, so it's truly an honor. And I know that the only reason why I was able to achieve that was because I wasn't afraid of things I wasn't familiar with, and I was always willing to do my best. Another time in my life that I applied this was my brother challenged me to do a marathon. I love to run, but I wasn't familiar with distance running. but he says, Karen, I think you'll enjoy a marathon. Let's try to do this. And I was afraid at first. It's kind of intimidating, but I really worked hard. I did my very best, and I actually qualified for Boston on my very first marathon. Now, I didn't sign up for this first marathon wanting to qualify for Boston. I didn't even know a lot about Boston or how difficult it was to qualify for Boston, but I did my very best and didn't let my fears get in the way of trying to accomplish something. So that time at Fort Knox truly helped me achieve things I know that I would have been afraid of, for sure, if I hadn't had that experience at Fort Knox. And really, I'm a math teacher, and a lot of people don't like math. So my students, when I get them, a lot of them they say, I'm not a math student, I'm not good at math, But I always tell them at the beginning of the year, you can do anything. Anybody can learn math. If you, decide that you're not going to be afraid of it. Instead of being afraid of it, open your mind and recognize you have the ability to learn if you work hard at it. And that's called the growth mindset. A growth mindset is basically the belief that you don't have set abilities, that basically you can do anything. You just might have to work a little harder at it than the next person, but if you're willing to work hard, you can grow and become stronger and do better. And I just finished my doctorate, and my dissertation was on the growth mindset. I did a research of secondary mathematics students, and I did a comparison of growth mindset of students who are in a traditional school setting and students that are in the online setting. And it was just fascinating to see how students view their own ability to learn. And if they view their ability to learn as something they're capable of and something that's within their control, then the sky is the limit. And I have my experience at Fort Knox, Kentucky to thank me for learning that.